Hey guys, Jess with Peekaboo Wreath. So we are back to work on our Christmas burlap wreath. It took me a minute to figure out what our theme was going to be. We have our Bowdabra and our scissors and our pipe cleaner, of course. As you remember, our wreath had like classic red and green. It also has white cotton strands in it. And so I was trying to figure out what our theme is going to be. And you know what? Christmas cats. Okay, team cat, team dog, you gotta let me know. But I've never made a Christmas cat wreath, and you know what, today's the day. Our very first wreath, Christmas wreath of the season, Christmas cats. It has glitter hats. It even says Meowie Christmas. You know I love a pun, so we're going with it. So we are going to have our Meowie Christmas wreath. We're making it now. We're gonna be putting this cat ribbon in 12 out of the 16 ties. So we're making that, we're driving that trend home. So we're gonna start with this 2.5-inch red velvet, classic red. Then we're going to be doing this burlap to help bring in the burlap in the mesh. We have this glittery red, which helps bring in the glittery red that's in this ribbon. Then we're going to be doing this green, classic green Christmas. Then we're going to be putting in our kitty ribbon right here. And this is a directional one, so we'll have to make sure that we're like twisting it in our hands and stuff. And then we have this 1-inch wired ribbon. I've never used this in a bow before. It's a new thing for me today. I know that it is wired, so it'll really be pretty with the tails and, you know, arcing it and stuff like that. So we're going to be using that. So that's a new thing today. So let's get ready. All right, so let's make our bow now. This wreath is going to be without a sign. So the bow needs to be big and bold and all those things, all those good Christmas things. We're going to be adding in ornaments, really pretty red and white ones that help bring out the color scheme. We're going to make nice big tails. So let's see, we're going to start off with 10-inch tails. And we're just gathering it same way we do, where we twist it nice and tight. We bring the tail down, and then we're going to be making, starting off with about 6-inch loops on each side. I say 6-inch loops just because when I put it down in my ribbon holder, bow maker, it's called the Bowdabra, I stretch it out until it's about 6 inches on each side. So if you open it up, it would be a 12-inch length of ribbon. We're stretching that out. We're going to be doing 2 loops on each side. This is wired ribbon. It is 2.5 inches wide. I'm making sure that each side is 6 inches. We're making sure that we use this ribbon to start with because I'm not using this ribbon in the ribbon tails. We want to make sure that our bow sticks out. We want it to match. We want it to be a nice cohesive look, but at the same time, we don't want it to match so much that you can't even tell that there's a bow on your wreath. In the past, when I first started making wreaths, I would make my bows with the exact same ribbon tails that I used in the wreath, which is a good idea in concept because, you know, you want your wreath to match. You want it to have a nice cohesive look. You don't want to use too many ribbons that make it too busy, and you want it to match, obviously, but you don't want it to match so much that you can't tell that there's a bow on there. And that's what started to happen when I was making bows that looked that way. So just, you live and you learn, you know, you mix it up a little bit. You know, I always say practice makes progress. It doesn't make perfect necessarily. So that is my motto, and I'm sticking to it. So here we go. We have our burlap here. This is a 1.5 inch. Normally I like to keep all of my ribbons the same length or the same width. You know, I'll do all my 2.5s and then I'll do my 1.5s towards the top, but it's okay to mix it up too. it's important to me that I incorporate the burlap and, you know, the white tones and the green ones. So this is about, let's see, about 5 inches. Normally I make each set of loops about a 1/2 inch or so smaller on each one. So we did 2. Now we did 1 loop on each side on this. And as I'm building it, I try to separate these loops like this so that when I do put it down into, or when I do tie it and then get it ready to put on my wreath, it's one less thing to do if I don't have to sit there and like readjust all the loops and refluff it all. It's just, you know, you touch it once, kind of move along, right? There's always like a little bit of readjusting that needs to happen before you put it, before you take your pictures and get it ready to go off to its new home. But I mean, time is important. We don't want to be wasting time by any means. Okay, so this is a nice sparkly ribbon, but it's kind of has like a little bit of like a fishnet or just a different type of texture here. You have to let me know what that texture reminds you of in the comments below. So yes, this is our very first Christmas wreath of the season. I knew it was coming. I had planned on starting a little bit earlier actually in the season. I was like thinking to myself I was going to have all my fall stuff done by the very first day of September, but then I had a few fall orders come in for football wreaths, so I wanted to get those replenished in my shop, and it seems that those football orders have slowed down a little bit, so I've had time to do a little Christmas shopping and start planning out what I'm going to be doing for my Christmas wreaths this year. This is my 2nd year of doing Christmas craft shows. Last year was my very first year, and it's definitely been a learning experience. Like anything else, you don't really know until you know. And you know, I always say, like, as long as you're moving forward, that's what matters, not necessarily the speed. The first years, well, even now, right? I had a small child, at least one, at home, and I kind of felt like, you know, even though I am so thankful to be home with my boys, I kind of felt a little bit like a lot of other wreath makers were able to devote more time, and I kind of felt a little bit like, not left behind necessarily, but I felt like I wasn't progressing as fast as they were, and I would feel a little bit like, definitely not remorseful or anything like that, but I was kind of like, well, I've been doing this the same amount of time as them, but they seem to be, you know, getting more sales and, you know, doing more things, and I didn't want to be doing craft shows when my boys were very little. They tend to, in the past, they tended to get sick in the Christmas season, which is when, you know, most of the craft shows, you know, Christmas is like the #1 time that most people hang wreaths. So that's like a big time for people to buy wreaths, and that's when most of the shows are. And I kind of felt like I didn't feel comfortable signing up for a show if I wasn't sure if my kids were going to be healthy. You know, and they're very little, they need you a lot more, you know, in the nighttime, and all the mommy snuggles, which I'm so thankful to be there with them. But now that they're getting a little bit older, I feel like I'm able to do a little bit more with my wreath business and take those chances of signing up for shows and putting myself out there and kind of throwing it out there and seeing what sticks, right? All right, so I'm just kind of making sure that all my loops are the same length. This ribbon is wired, but it's a little bit sheer, so we're just making sure everything's nice and cozy in there. This ribbon is directional. I did cut a 36-inch length of this ribbon for the bow. I have learned that if you have a 10-yard roll of ribbon, Hold on one second, let me think. Because if I put this in like this, my cats are gonna be going upside down. So I gotta think for a second. If you have a 10-yard roll of ribbon and you wanna include 10-inch or 12-inch tails, what you're gonna have to do is make sure that you, I'm gonna cut this and I'm gonna be adding it in. You have to make sure that you only like include 36 inches in your bow, because you want to make sure that you have enough if you do want to duplicate it. So this ribbon, I don't remember where I bought it from. And so if somebody wanted to buy this again, I wanted to make sure that I had enough left on the roll to be able to make it for them. So that's why I was purposeful in how much ribbon I was using. Let's make sure we catch all the parts of the ribbon in here. Since this is a directional ribbon and I want to make sure that my kitty cats are facing up on the tails, I'm going to be adding this tail in. So it's a little bit different. Let's see how, you don't want your kitties facing down. So I'm going to be lifting this up real quick. I'm making sure that I include like all of that ribbon in there because I don't want any of it to fall out. You know, obviously when it's in the bow here. Okay, so I'm making sure that my loops are the same on both sides. And then I'm going to be coming in with this, which I've never used before, and I'm pretty excited. I'm going to make my tail like a little bit longer than this kitty one because it is a little bit sheer. It is 1 inch, and I just kind of excited to use this. I like how it gives like a little bit of a whimsical look, you know, kind of sticks straight up. And it is wired, so that's nice. So I'm coming in here, I'm going to be putting 2 loops on each side. Let's make sure our loops are the same. I'm making them a little bit shorter than that, the loops on that kitty ribbon, because we want that kitty ribbon to be showing through, because that is, you know, those kitties are the star of the show. Okay, we're putting this in. I know it's getting a little bit squishy in here. Let's make sure that all of our loops are the same. And then we're going to go and make a little bump. It's called, I don't know what the technical term for that is. A bump loop, I don't know. But it's just a little loop that I put on there to hide the pipe cleaner. As you can see here, this Bowdabra is well used, well loved. This is my first ever bow maker. Okay, so those kind of popped up a little bit, so I'm just making sure that they're the same on each side. I have my pipe cleaner. It's just a basic length pipe cleaner, and I just fold it a little bit so it's like maybe 1 inch, like a little kink here. And then we're going to hold down our bow stack. That's a technical term for that. We're going to hold it with our fingers. We're going to hold it tightly, making sure that all of our parts of our bow are in there. We're going to take our pipe cleaner, lift our thumb up a moment. Take that pipe cleaner. Some people use a zip tie and then just stick a pipe cleaner through the back, which that would work too. I don't like this pipe cleaner. Get rid of that. It is a little bit thin. Not all pipe cleaners are created equal. So let's get a new red one. Yes, not all pipe cleaners are created equal. Some have a thicker wire in them. And those are the ones that I like to use. I don't want to be using any thin wire that's just gonna kind of flop out or be too flimsy. No, thank you. No flimsy wires around here. All right, so now I'm keeping my thumb here, but I'm taking my tails. So you can already see this gorgeous 1.5 inch kind of, you know, so a lot of times I use mesh tubing in my wreath, and this 1.5 inch ribbon kind of gives me the same feel. So as I said before, I'm keeping my thumb right here, and I'm being a little bit aggressive with my tails. Careful with that kitty one. And then bringing our tails down. Because it is wired, it will get a little bit of an arch in it because when you bring your fingers and your hands through. Okay, so let's get our loops here, just pulling them out. opening them up a little bit. Okay, so we did like 2, 1. This one we did 2 because it was a 1.5 inch. Bringing our tails down. Open everything up. Here's our little bump one in the middle. That's cute. I like that 1.5 inch, and it is wired, like I said before. I bought that one at Hobby Lobby. It's really nice because it's like glittery, sort of. It's like reflective, and it has the polka dots, and then it has that green on the edge. That's gorgeous, and it matches this green and this kitty ribbon. You have to let me know in the comments below if you are team glitter or team shine in your Christmas creations. So there we go. We're ready to go in that. Now we're ready to add our ribbon tails into our wreath, and that's what the steps we'll see next time. So there we go. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments. Let's get this one. You can always adjust a little bit extra. There you go. Thanks so much. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.